Bearcycle Show presents The Bare Minimum with your host, Bryan Anthony Gwatney, also known as Bearcycle Bryan, the unofficial Bethesda Fallout and Fallout community news. By the fans, for the fans.
Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of the Bare Minimum, the official presentation and news broadcast of the Bearcycle Show. I am your host, Bryan Anthony Gwatney, or as some of you like to call me, Bearcycle Bryan. This show is going to be centered around pretty much everything Fallout, from community news to updates to everything that we can get from Bethesda, or now Microsoft, and as well just things that I flat out enjoy about the game. I plan on having different guests throughout the episodes, and this is an unscripted show. So if you're looking for something that's scripted, this show isn't going to be for you. This is just kind of me rambling and talking about the things that I'm excited about, or things that I've come up with, or things that I've seen, and really just sharing things throughout the community. Because in all honesty, I believe the Fallout 76 community is probably one of the most tight-knit communities I've ever experienced. I've met some amazing people throughout my play, and just joined some awesome communities and different things like that. I think that's what I love most about Fallout 76. I think, I've done interviews before with different shows and different hosts of different platforms, and the one thing that I can say is Fallout 76 created an opportunity for people like me who enjoy the Fallout genre, but yet I get to experience it with friends. And the cool thing is, I think the excitement of sharing things with friends came in Fallout 4 for me. When they introduced the whole idea of settlement building, I remember watching that first keynote, and that when they were showing what Fallout 4 was going to be and how you could rebuild in the apocalypse, in the wasteland. And I got really excited because in Fallout 3 and in Fallout New Vegas, the only way to do that was by downloading mods. And me not having a very good PC and being strictly a console gamer at first, it was hard to do. Not hard to do. It was impossible to do. And then I got onto the PC and under the computer gaming, and I was able to download mods in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, which was Real-Time Settler. And I don't know, I just really like that aspect of rebuilding in a fallen world. I don't know, that really speaks to me. And so when Fallout 4 introduced the whole idea of settlement building, I don't know, I got excited. But the one thing that was hard for me was the only people that I could share my creations and my builds with were, my wife, who probably sat there and honestly got annoyed with me playing too much, or people coming over. And then I decided to create a YouTube channel just to kind of show off the things that I've built, because I don't know, the satisfaction of seeing it for myself or taking pride in something I built and just being the only one admiring it kind of was at a loss for me. And so uploading on YouTube and letting you guys, the community, see the things I built, I don't know, really encouraged me and made the game not feel so isolated. And when I say isolated, I don't mean like the game was lacking or where you felt alone in the world. It's just when it comes to the creative aspects, it's so much better to experience that with people and friends. And that's what made Fallout 76 so different than the rest of the games, especially Fallout 4, was being able to express and share those creative moments with your camps or stories, your role plays with your friends, and doing it alongside your friends together. I don't know. I enjoy that. I think that's what makes this game better, is because it creates such an awesome community of people that want to enjoy the game for what it is. It's so funny to me thinking that when I first set out of Vault 76, I actually didn't play much with people or a select group of friends, because after beta, most of my friends kind of walked away from the game because it wasn't what they expected, or the game was too empty, or they just didn't enjoy it. So I was left kind of wandering this West Virginian wasteland all by myself, and that kind of sucked for a bit. But even as I initially played probably my first, 60 to 80 to 100 hours of gameplay alone in that wasteland, it really meant something when you encountered another player. Because no, honestly, most of the players that I encountered from in the beginning weren't hostile. They weren't trying to PvP. They weren't trying to grief, which is something I haven't enjoyed in survival type online games, because that kind of takes the fun away from enjoying the atmosphere in the world. That constant fear of someone killing you and taking your junk. But like I was saying, most of the people that I encountered were pretty much awesome people that would speak up in voice chat or emote, follow me, and they would drop some good gear that maybe I needed, or they would help me on a quest line kind of accomplish stuff, and then we would team up and then disband after I I can't speak, that after I completed that quest line. And I don't know, that's what made the game really enjoyable for me, was to see people role playing, because I'm very much into that role play aspect of the game. I mean, obviously you guys can see that through my character in the Omega broadcast, which that was inspired by my gameplay in Fallout 76 of this character that emerged from the vault alone, like lost and wandering. And I decided, heck, I'm just going to create some cool backstory and kind of tell this story even further after I complete the main quest and the driven story and driven narrative. But that's not the point of this show, to talk about the Omega broadcast. You guys can check out those links and enjoy that for yourself. This show is to highlight the community in Fallout and just the game we love all too much. Speaking of community, I was scrolling through Facebook today, and in one of the Fallout 76 groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, I saw this really cool post. This girl posted a picture of her and her boyfriend's characters in game. And the cool thing about it was, she was standing up and the other character was kind of knelt down, like crouched. And you're watching, and from the picture view, it's like on this cliff overlooking, the pretty scenery in West Virginia. And she commented, my boyfriend proposed to me in game, that he dropped a wedding ring in a brown paper sack, and he told her to look into the sack. And when she clicked on the menu to look in the sack and closed it out, his character was kneeled down and he asked her to marry him. And I thought that was really, really cool, because to me, that just shows how tight knit the community is. Even though they're boyfriend and girlfriend, she actually goes later on in the comments to explain how he never would really get into the game, but how she introduced him to Fallout 76, which is her favorite game, and he got into it and they play it together, and he proposed. I just thought that was really, really cool. And so with her permission, I took a snapshot of the post and I shared it across our Twitter, and I don't know, it just started blowing up, and all these people just kind of commenting and loving on it and saying how much they love the community. Hear stories about people that became best friends because they met in game, and it created a thread of people talking about similar stories about how awesome the community's been for them. And I don't know, it's just really cool to see. And we've seen so many cool things like pop up within the community. I remember a while back, Doc CJ Martin and his character, which is just an in-game wasteland character, where he would be at the Fallout 76 Fight Club dropping stim packs and waters for people, and just really setting up that whole character of an actual true responder person wanting to help people. But in real life, he faced a tragedy where his house burnt, and he actually suffered some bodily harm because of the damage. And then one of the members of the Fallout 76 awesome community put out a post, and we raised money to bless them and help them with medical expenses and different things like that. I don't know. It's just really cool to me to see this community come together like that. And some other great communities that I know of within Fallout 76 and this whole awesome thing is, there's the Enclave, which they've taken, an in-game again, I can't speak very well, an in-game lore and background, and taken over that faction and made it what they can, and they all identified with that and recruited themselves to be a part of this awesome faction. There's the Free States Militia, which we don't hear much about other than Fallout 76, but people have kind of revived that from the holotapes and things that they've experienced in game when they encountered them, or the first responders. People adapt to the first responders and not adapt. Well, they adapt to the role, but they identify with that faction. And it's just really cool to see. And now with the Brotherhood of Steel coming up in a future update, people are really starting to see more Brotherhood type role plays and stuff that I haven't seen initially from the beginning. But I don't know. It's just really, really cool to see how people come together, and especially in 2020 when we see nothing but division and people being separated and divided, that people can come together and really just do something they love, do something they enjoy, and play it together, not worried about, politics and religious sightings or anything like that. They're just, coming together in game. Even though a bunch of them are in warring factions like the Enclave and Brotherhood, there's people in our community that in our network of friends that play, that are both sides, but we play together, and it's just so fun. And I don't know, that's just my bit of rambling about how proud of this community that I am and how awesome it is to be a part of something so cool. All right, we're going to jump into our next segment real quick, which is some updates and Fallout news of things that are happening as I speak. But before we do, we're going to take a break and hear from one of our sponsors.
Well, hello there, listener. It looks to me like I spotted myself a fellow collector. Now, I know I like to collect things like posters and t-shirts and action figures of all my favorite video games and TV shows, and Loot Crate makes that possible. And if you're a fan of this show, I know you love all things Fallout, and Loot Crate has a very specific Fallout type crate. And if you want to take 15% off of your order, head on over to the link in the show notes below and enter Robots Radio at checkout. That's lootcrate.com.
All right, welcome back to the Bare Minimum. If you've just caught up with me, I'm your host, Bran Gwatney, or Bearcycle Bryan, and now we're going to jump into the news segment of our show. And today, as I'm recording this on October 28th, 2020, this marks the 12th anniversary of the North America release of Fallout 3. It's really cool to see this because Fallout 3 was actually my introduction to the Fallout series. I think I'd heard about Fallout 1 and 2 probably off and on growing up, but never really got into them because growing up, I never really had that much of a computer to be able to play computer games. Oddly enough, the only computer games I ever played were the original SimCity, which was like the aerial view, the old school, like 90s version, and Age of Empires, the very first Age of Empires. Those were like the only two computer games that I played. Everything else was, Super Nintendo, NES, N64, PS1, Xbox, the original. Like I was always a console kid. So when Bethesda took over the Fallout series and released Fallout 3, I was on PlayStation 3 at the time, I think. Might have been Xbox 360. I can't really remember. I had both, but I got it from one of them. And I remember putting the game in for the first time and hearing the War Never Changes and the whole Alpha and Omega speech and having Liam Neeson as a dad and waking up with my eyes open in a crib where I can have playpen as a kid, that whole aspect, it was just really cool to see. And I remember creating my character, not knowing much of what's out in the wasteland, because like I said, I didn't know the Fallout series. I didn't know about super mutants. I didn't know about rad scorpions. I didn't know about all these creatures and things in the waste. So it was like truly like someone emerging from a vault for the first time. So I remember completing the quests, with the tunnel snakes, taking my goat, figuring all that out, taking the BB gun as a kid on my birthday down and shooting rad roaches with my dad. Exploring the vault and that whole aspect of developing the character's identity in the vault life. And then ultimately understanding that my dad leaves one day and I go out to follow him. And I remember walking out into the Capital Wasteland and eyes adjusting with the whole glare to the outside world and just seeing the beautiful contrast of what used to be, I guess. And seeing, that town right when you walk in and kind of wandering in and seeing the iBot float around, broadcasting President John Henry Eden's message across the Capital Wasteland. And I remember opening my Pip-Boy for the first time and seeing all the tabs, and I saw the radio tab. And I remember clicking on GNR and hearing Three Dog, ow, click on and tell his broadcast. And I don't know, just feeling so into the world. I remember that for the first time, just experiencing that and following the quest line, walking over to, the first town you experience with living people, which was Megaton, and going in and seeing this whole Mad Max vibe of this collected, rustic, damaged stuff with all these walls and these shanty shacks put together and these shops and these bars, and right smack in the middle of it is this undetonated atomic bomb and the risk of that. It was just so exciting to experience that for the first time. And I remember one of the quest lines, initial quest lines that I first took on, I think it was a side quest. You walk into the gun store there in Megaton, and the gun owner, or it might have been general store, I can't really remember, but she's wanting to create the Wasteland Survival Guide, and she needs your help. And I remember taking on that quest and getting the armored vault suit. That was really cool. And going and trying to tick off all these boxes on this quest line. And like I said, I never really experienced anything about this game up to this point. So I didn't know the creatures that were out there. And I remember going to, I think it was a Super Duper Mart was one of the quest lines for the Wasteland Survival Guide. I don't really remember exactly what it was for. I guess I could look it up, but I don't need to. But I remember walking up to that shopping center, that little mart, and seeing these giant green mutated dudes looking like super overpowered to my puny little character in his blue vault suit, and thinking, what the hell have I just experienced? What's about to wreck me right now? And it was super mutants, and experiencing them for the first time. It was just, I don't know. It was like mind grappling. I don't know. It really took me by surprise and shocked me. But I think that was the beauty of Fallout 3, was this first really immersive view that's not aerial view of the game, but you really immersing yourself into this character and actually being introduced to the Fallout series for the first time. I felt like someone who just came out of a vault into a post-apocalyptic wasteland and was experiencing all this stuff for the first time. And I think that was what captured me in the moment of falling in love with Fallout and really wanting to learn more about this series and the concept of it, because I like the idea of like I said it before, I like the idea of this post-apocalyptic civilization rebuilding what was and seeing how people adapt to that and seeing the storylines in that and seeing how the decisions I make, how they'll affect, in game to where I don't have to experience it in real life. But in this game, I don't know, it just really captures me, that whole science fiction era of that genre of science fiction that just really, I don't know, it just drew me in, and I just became a Fallout fan for life. And so everything Fallout that came out from that point on, all the DLCs, Fallout New Vegas, again, just another game that took a completely different aspect and way of seeing the game, where you're not coming out of a vault in that one. You're actually, shot in the head at the beginning, and you get kind of reconstructive surgery, and then you go and follow that quest line and, experiencing things in there. But Fallout 3, I don't know, it was the game changer. I feel like, some of you listening may can relate to that, to where it was the first experience for Fallout for you. And when you walked out of the vault for the first time, it just drew you in instantly. I remember I had a friend come over, and I had Fallout 3 and it just came out, and he got on it and started a new character. And I remember watching him get so captivated. And it was funny because I'll remember this, and there's so many things I don't remember about the game initially because it was so long ago. But I remember him walking out of the vault and kicking it straight left when he walked out. He didn't go to Megaton. He didn't do anything. He was just like so captivated by how beautiful the destructive landscape looked and how just immersive it was. And I remember he walked up to that city on the overpass where some of the members are going missing and joining I think it's the vampire family underground. And he went and did that quest line first. But it was just so cool to be a part of a somewhat guided story, but yet having the freedom to make the story your own. And that's what Fallout does so well. And I think that's what Bethesda did well when they took over and they made these games, because as much as they're story driven and you follow them to complete a main quest line and a main story, and there's tons of side quests, your decisions, your actions, and just the way you experience the game makes it your own. And Fallout 3 really did that. So it's really cool. So happy anniversary, Fallout 3, for the North American release at least. That's really cool. I'm on the Fallout News Twitter, and their post says, "Today marks the 12th anniversary of the North American release of Fallout 3. The things I do to play this for the first time again." I agree 100%, because that was, like I said, it just captured me. It captured me from the very beginning. So Fallout 3, happy anniversary. That is awesome. And yesterday, speaking of news, we saw the new update on the Atomic Shop in Fallout 76. And I'm going to talk about a few of the things that I really like about this Atomic Shop release. The Atomic Shop to me is really cool because most of it's cosmetic. Actually, all of it's cosmetic. And it all kind of gears towards camp building mostly, other than outfits and things like that. And this one had the Feral Ghoul set, where you get the Feral Ghoul mask and the overalls and everything to look like a wandering Feral Ghoul. And that is so cool to me. I actually saw a post in one of the Fallout 76 community groups on Facebook where a group of people were getting together and they said, let's all put on the Feral Ghoul mask and costumes and just rush new people when they come out of the vault and just scare them. And that's really cool, especially Halloween coming up, getting that shock, that scare. That is so, so cool to me. And I know it'd be so funny to see a group of people do that in game. It was funny a while back. Our group got together and we were all in Mothman cultist outfits, and we wandered up onto bunch of different cultist grounds, and there was like, I don't know, probably 12, 13 of us all dressed in Mothman cultist outfits, and random passersby that were completing quest lines and stuff just saw a bunch of Mothman cultists emoting or jumping off buildings and just doing some funny stuff. And so it was just really cool to see that in game. So I think one of the funny things to me would be to see a bunch of these feral ghouls walking around with the protest signs and have them protesting something like, I don't know. I can't think of anything, but I just think that would be funny. And so to me, that was a really cool release in the Atom Shop. Let's take a look and see what some other stuff is. October 27th. Oh, they got that new mail backpack. That's really, really cool. I love the backpack skins, and my two favorite skins are the ones you had to get in the Mole Miner treasure hunt. The Crocolosis, I can't speak. The Crocolosis, however you say it, backpack with the binoculars and the little crocodile stuffed animal sticking out. And then now they had the gorilla one with the gorilla sticking out. And I have both of those, and those are my favorite. I think they look awesome with every outfit. Goes really cool with the treasure hunter outfit or the bog wanderer outfit. So that's really cool. All right, let's look. So there is the feral ghoul costume, which we just talked about, and you can get it in the Spooky Ghoul bundle, which comes with the Spooky Ghoul feral ghoul costume, the Night Terror Gauss rifle paint, the Spooky doorbell, which I completely forgot I got, so I need to add that to my camp somewhere, the Ghoul player icon, and the Halloween photo frame. And that's really cool because I think a lot of this is kind of making up for the lack of Halloween event. Mischief Night was awesome last year, tearing up the White Spring, blowing up robots, doing that whole event was cool. And some of the things that you got, I got the full pantsuit, the Halloween pantsuit, or the jack-o'-lantern pantsuit, I think is what it's called. And I regret I had it in my marketplace for 30,000 caps and it actually sold. And I regret selling it now that Halloween's back around because I want to wear it right now. Let's see what else we got. The Viking costume. That's pretty cool. And the Postal Service backpack, which I talked about, that's really cool. I have yet to buy it, and I need to buy it before it goes out because it's available until November 17th. So I've got a couple weeks, but I need to get that because I like collecting backpack skins. And then they brought back, I guess, the Free States Junkyard Power Armor paint. So yeah, those were the new things released yesterday in the Atom Shop. And let's see, look, the things that are headed for the vault. So heading back, some existing items are headed out of the Atomic Shop and into the vault this week. So let's see what they are. The things headed away are the Robber Halloween bundle. Yeah, that's pretty cool because the cage, the jail cages, those are awesome. The Halloween camp bundle. Yep. The jack-o'-lanterns and everything. The Halloween decoration bundle. And all that is the robber costume, the jail cell wall kit, the large and small plasma balls. I don't know what those are. I'm not sure exactly what those are. The Halloween cutouts. I think all this is in the decoration set. And the Black Cat bundle. Man, that's really cool. In my room, in my player's personal room, in his house, in my camp, I put that black cat at the end of the bed. So that's really neat when you walk in and see that. The Witch Cauldron, the Coffin Stash Box, the Spooky Sound Machine. That's really cool. The Skull Candles set of 3, the Laughing Witch player icon, the Pumpkin Vault Girl mask, and the Blue Floater Mobile. All of those are heading back to the vault on November 3rd. So they'll be available until 12 p.m. Eastern time on November 3rd. So if that's some stuff that you want to get, I would suggest jumping in the Atom Shop and getting those things. All right. That's about all the news that I'm covering this week on this show. So, yeah, cool beans. All right. That is going to wrap up the very first episode of the Bare Minimum. So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Again, most of it's just my ramblings of things that I enjoy or things that I experience. But I really wanted to bring highlight to the community. And like I said, throughout future episodes, we're going to have different members of the community on to talk about the things that they're doing and things that they're featuring by using Fallout 76 and different things like that. We actually have, thanks to Ken from the Chad Fallout 76 podcast, he started this group called the Writers Guild. And so it's where we get together every other Thursday and we sit around a campfire and we workshop different ideas for, Fallout 76 and Fallout related and inspired stories that we create, much like his Chad Fallout 76 podcast, which is that dark humor, great Fallout 76 podcast. And there's ours, the Omega broadcast, a Fallout 76 story. And there's so many other awesome shows that are coming out of this group that I know I'm excited for, and I know that you should get excited for, especially if you love the radio drama and the radio theater type podcasts and those just awesome, cool audio driven narratives to really capture your imagination. There's going to be some awesome stuff come out of this group. And if that sounds like something you might be interested in, I'll link the Discord link in our show notes below, and you can jump in and kind of chat with us. There's a few different rules to be a part of this group, but most of it is just not copying and being respectful and different things like that. So I will post the link to that Discord in our show notes below. So if that sounds like something you're interested in and you want to be a part of this amazing Fallout 76 creators community and just create some cool stories, I know we love to hear new and awesome 76 and Fallout inspired stories. But that's about it. That's going to wrap this show up. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, my name is Brian Gwatney, or Bearcycle Bryan, and you can find me on Twitter at Omega_broadcast, or on Facebook. Just type in the Omega broadcast, a Fallout story, and it'll bring you to the page. And you can also find out more info and news with the Omega broadcast on theomegabroadcast.com. And that gives you everything updated with that show. And with this show, just keep in touch and just shoot us an email and hit me up on Twitter and I will respond. And that's about it. It's hard to do some of these things when you're not scripted and stuff, but I wanted to do a show that was really just not scripted and I don't know, just my thoughts and rambles and different things like that. Well, anyways, again, I hope you have a great week or a great morning or whenever you listen to this. I hope you enjoy it. Alrighty. I'll see you guys later in the wasteland.